If you still love someone who has left, listen closely. It's not because you're weak. It's not because you can't move on. And it's definitely not because you don't understand what happened. You still love them because love doesn't operate on logic or timelines or neat, tidy endings. Love doesn't just switch off the moment someone walks away. It lingers. It echoes. It settles into the quiet corners of your mind and pops up when you least expect it. When someone leaves, they don't just take their physical self with them. They take the routines, the inside jokes, the future plans you built together. They take the shared language you had, and they take the versions of you that only ever existed when you were with them. Your brain doesn't just miss a person. It misses an entire world that felt familiar and safe. So even when your head knows they're gone, even when you accept that the relationship ended for a very good reason, your heart still reaches for what once felt like home. One of the big reasons you still love them is because your brain formed a deep chemical bond with them. Love isn't just an emotion. It's a cocktail of chemicals. Dopamine, oxytocin, serotonin. These powerful things literally wire someone into your nervous system. When they leave, your body doesn't immediately get the memo that the source of those feel-good chemicals is gone. It goes into a state similar to withdrawal. You find yourself craving their presence the same way you'd crave comfort or stability or relief from pain. That craving doesn't mean they were perfect for you. It just means your system got used to them being there, and now it's in shock. Another reason is all the unfinished emotional business. Most relationships don't end with perfect closure. There are things you wish you'd said, questions you never got answers to, apologies you never received, and moments you replay over and over, thinking, if only I had done this one thing differently. Your mind keeps looping back to them because it's desperately trying to complete a story that ended abruptly. And love stays alive in those gaps, feeding on all the what-ifs and almosts. You might also still love them because you fell in love not just with who they were, but with who you believed they could become. You loved their potential. You loved the future you imagined. Together, the version of life that felt so possible with them in it. When they left, that future didn't just disappear, it shattered. And grief isn't just about losing what you had. It's about losing everything you hoped you would have. Sometimes, you're not holding on to the person anymore. You're holding on to the dream they represented. And here's a hard truth. Love doesn't just turn into indifference because someone chose to leave. You can fully understand why they left and still wish with all your heart that they had stayed. You can accept the ending and still feel that ache deep in your chest. Emotional maturity doesn't mean you don't feel pain. It means you learn to let that pain exist without letting it control your life or your actions. Loving someone who left doesn't always mean you want them back at any cost. Often, it just means that what you felt for them was real. You might still love them because they saw you during a time when you felt most like yourself. Maybe with them, you laughed a little louder, felt a bit braver, or believed more in the person you could be. When they left, it felt like you lost access to that version of yourself. So, missing them is also about missing the way you felt when you were with them. It's not always about the person sometimes. It's about the reflection of yourself that you saw in their eyes. Sometimes, you still love them because the relationship ended without a clear villain. There was no big betrayal, no dramatic explosion. It was just distance, or bad timing, or fear, or emotional incompatibility. When nothing bad enough happened to justify the end, your heart has a really hard time letting go. It keeps asking, if the love was there, why wasn't it enough? And that single question can keep the connection alive long after you've said goodbye. There's also the comfort of familiarity. The human mind is drawn to what it knows, even when what it knows is painful. Letting go means stepping into the complete unknown, and that can feel way more terrifying than staying emotionally attached to someone who's no longer there. In a way, loving them becomes a strange way to stay anchored to something familiar, even if that anchor is causing you pain. There is absolutely nothing wrong with loving someone who left. What really matters is what you do with that love. It doesn't always need a destination. It doesn't always need to be returned. Sometimes, love becomes something you just carry quietly, without letting it define your choices or limit your future. Healing doesn't mean forgetting them. It means being able to remember them without pain controlling your present. It means being able to say, yes, I loved them deeply, without that sentence completely breaking you. It's about understanding that love can be real and true even when a relationship ends. You still love them because you are capable of deep connection. That is not a flaw, it's one of your greatest strengths. The goal isn't to erase the love you feel. It's to make room for new experiences, new connections, and new versions of yourself to emerge. One day, love will feel different. It will feel softer. It will feel safer. It will feel more aligned with who you are. And when that day comes, you won't regret having loved before. You'll realize it was all preparation. Slowly, without forcing it, that love will start to change its shape. It won't disappear overnight, but it will loosen its grip. It will stop hurting every single time you think of them. It'll become a quiet chapter in your story instead of an open wound that never heals. And one day, you'll realize that while they may have left, the love you gave was never, ever wasted. It became a part of you. Thanks for listening.